I promise you, you are going to love it. And if you don't, then I guarantee that your kids will. Because now we're going to take a look at poo. This is great. It's a great little reserve. There's only one thing lacking. Cafe. Red helleborine and glowworm in the same night? The potential is an order of magnitude unknown to naturalists the world over. What a magnificent animal this is. I know I look a complete Bert, but I don't care. Just listen to that.
Chris is a bit like the incredible book-eating boy. He devours information. Everyone who works and meets Chris tends to go away in complete awe of him. They have utter respect of his knowledge, his passion, the way he gets totally involved. He's a real team player.
Chris is passionate about all the world's species, millions of species, and he puts them up there with us. Not many people are able to do that. He's a voice for those creatures that have no voice. His passion for wildlife isn't just a work thing, it imbues his whole life. But he's also very funny. And I have to say, in the 10 years that I worked with Chris, I have never laughed so much in my life.
Growing up with Chris as a child was, well, always fun and entertaining and eventful, and I think probably the word he'd like me to use would be informative. He got me into wildlife by putting jam on my nose to attract wasps, having moth-trapping sleepover birthday parties, which, I mean, granted, my friends thought it might be a bit odd, but, you know, I loved it at the time.
You always say that failure is not an option, and it's not. You have to keep winning, but in order to win, you have to stay alive. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to ask you to look after yourself a little bit more, keep your doctor's appointments, that sort of thing.
He's a formidable campaigner. The things he's done recently have been phenomenal. Things like the People's Walk for Wildlife, the People's Manifesto for Wildlife, all the campaigning he's done in Malta to make us aware of the illegal killing of songbirds, the illegal persecution of birds of prey, grouse moor shooting, all of those things. And the amazing thing about Chris is once he decides to take a campaign on, he just keeps going with it.
I think the best thing about him is he's an expert. He knows his stuff, you know, it's his job. And not just some loudmouth comedian on Twitter.
If it wasn't for Chris, would we care about these things as much? I don't think we would. I'm not sure how he does it. It must be exhausting for him. How does he keep up that level of commitment and constant being in the public eye, fighting for wildlife, while he's trying to combine that with his work?
It's something that I think, unless we have those animals to show young people and excite them, they're not going to be interested in looking after the rest of the animals which are wandering around in the world getting killed by the rest of us.
He's high profile, has a massive platform, so it's great that he uses that to speak out about things that he's passionate about.
Chris's passion for wildlife isn't something that he can in any way choose to turn on and off. He can't partition his life away from it. You know, he lives and breathes it. He absolutely needs it as well. It's where he gets his energy from.
He's funny and charming. He's likeable, which really helps because people want to listen.
I'm sorry, but if we don't stop and actually think and actually act, really act, now, if we don't listen to ecologists rather than economists, if we don't stop voting for ignorant short-termists, then we are very probably doomed. And to paraphrase Crime Watch, do have nightmares, because they might just save us.